I'm Angie with Sandy Beach Vacation Rentals, one of the owners here. And this is Shannon Peterson. She's an owner that we manage 6 properties for. So we just have some questions we're gonna ask her today about her rentals, how she got into the business, good investments. She's also a licensed realtor in the area. She lives on the beach, so she's very credible, very knowledgeable. So I'm looking forward to asking her all these questions. I guess first of all, why did you stop self-managing and look for a property management company?
Yeah, and it's a really good question because it's something we debated for a long time, and we've been investing for over 2 decades, which is crazy.
Yeah.
We started with single family, and single family is not difficult to manage on your own, right? That's you get one tenant in, you maybe get a turnover once a year.
Yeah.
But then we moved down. That was in Minnesota, and then we did 1031s to get our properties.
So you did long-term rentals.
There, and then we moved them down. We actually bought our first property on the beach was Ocean Sands.
Okay. Oh, I wondered which one was your first one.
Yeah, and that one, and we love that property. We kind of bought it because we lived in Tampa at the time, and we were like, okay, let's do a vacation rental, but then we can use it on weekends.
Right.
Or we can go use it.
So how long did you use it on the weekends?
We actually
did you use it a lot.
We did.
Okay.
Yeah, we did. We used it quite a bit. And
we thought the same thing, and then we never use ours.
We're too busy. Well, when we lived in Tampa, we did, and then we actually, because in my corporate job, we work from home.
Okay.
So we decided to, and so this was in 2016.
Okay.
We decided to spend a summer. We had 2 little girls at the time, and there was a camp at ROC Park where you bring your children and they could spend the day there. So I'm like, this is perfect. We could spend the summer on the beach.
Yeah.
They have daycare. We have, we can work from the condo. And then we're like, we're not moving back. We love.
We're gonna live on the beach.
We're gonna live on the beach.
Okay.
So we're like, okay, let's think about selling our Tampa house, and then we, bought a house down here. So, so yeah, we did use it quite a bit because we lived there for 3 months, and then a little bit longer while we were trying to find a house for us to live.
So you eased into the whole investment thing because you kind of used it for a little bit of personal, and then invested, and then now you have 6 properties. That are really full-time investment properties for you because you also live on the beach.
Right, yeah, exactly. And that's where as we kept acquiring more, so we had 6 properties in Minnesota.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, and so that was more of us upgrading. So we would live in one, and then I'd see one that I'd like better. I'm like, I kind of want to buy that, but it wouldn't be a good time to sell. And I'm like, well, I'll just rent it out, right? And then we moved to the next one, and then moved to the next one.
Were you also a realtor in Minnesota?
Not in Minnesota. Only here. Yeah. Okay. So we kind of stumbled into real estate a little bit, but I just love real estate. So at some point, I'm like, I should just really, get my license. Because everyone would call me and they'd be like, Shannon, what do you think about this? Shannon, how do I handle this?
You kind of became the expert, and you didn't even have your license.
So I'm like, wait a minute. I have so many people calling me. I might as well get my license. And I didn't mind. I love answering questions and talking strategy with people about how to invest and where to invest and. So yeah, long story short, we started acquiring more of our properties doing 1031s, and then we had, like you say, I have 6 now, but when we got to having 4 and 5, it just took more and more of our time on the weekends and the stress of getting a call at 2 a.m. because the AC went out, and then
we had one of those calls last night.
It's crazy, the amount of things that you don't think about when you. And the other part too. So we kept on going back and forth, and most of the management companies we would look into, they didn't handle it like we would as owners, right? So it was kind of a struggle. We were like, well, are we really going to be happy because we're hands-on?
Yeah, and that's what I think when people come to me from self-managing, that to me is kind of it is, that they know what they're doing. And so it's very different approach because they've done it. They know how hard it is. They know how demanding it is. So you can kind of say okay, we get it. So it's good. That's awesome.
No, and when I talked with you, it was okay, we might have an option here. The first conversation.
Because that's kind of how it started for us too, managing our own and then grew into it. But that's awesome.
Yeah, and so we had one 2 summers ago where we were trying to take a vacation, but trying to coordinate, making sure that what if someone can't get in? What if they get locked out? How do we coordinate all this? Because we don't have all the systems that you have in place. And so it was a difficult decision, but we're happy and thrilled with you guys.
Yes, we're glad. We're glad.
Yeah.
No, it's been really well, and you're such an easy owner to work with.
Thank you.
It's so great. So you have Ocean Sands. That was your first.
Yeah.
You also have San Remo, Chambray. You have 2 units there now, next door to each other. Sunset Beach Harbor House. I never know which one to call that. Or it's the whole thing.
We call it, Sunset Beach, but then we're like, most of the time,
And then Sandy Shores. And so not only do you have 6, you're also a realtor, and you've helped a lot of people purchase on the beach and had very successful like short-term rentals as well. So that's kind of fun too.
Yeah, it is fun. And I love to help, especially first-time like investors, like navigate. And
I can think of one off the top of my head, San Remo. That unit is doing amazing, and you help those owners get that unit and like learn about how to, the revenue, like, projected rental revenue, all that stuff too. So yeah. So that's awesome. So I guess you kind of talked about how you got into investing. It was long-term rentals first, and then you moved here and got it into the short-term rentals. And then a little bit about like why you choose beach properties. Like, you love the beach, I guess.
Yes.
So I don't know if there's anything else about that. I mean, when you were looking at revenue, is that kind of one of the reasons you went towards the beach?
And it's the first, Ocean Sands was the first one, and that was just like, we wanted to be on the beach, and we love the beach, and we wanted to see something that we could use and we could also rent out. But since then, when we look at buying a new property, we have looked at some that are not on the beach. And there are really good investments that you could do that are not directly on the beach.
Right.
We have just happened to find good value in the properties that we've found on the beach. You do have to be really careful in this area because each of the different municipalities have different restrictions. And so if you're on the beach, typically you're in a short-term rental area. There's different condos have different association rules as well that you need to look at. But for the most part, if you're closer to the beach, you have a little bit more of an opportunity to do the short-term rentals. Now there are some cities that are close by to the beach, so proximity to the beach I think is important as well.
And I can rant about this forever, but that's why having a good realtor who's knowledgeable in short-term rentals is so important. So we refer you and a couple other realtors we work with that really know the short-term rental regulations. So you could get into a lot of trouble if you don't have a realtor who understands that.
And I've heard so many actually bad advice given, not from me, but like from others.
Yes, there is a lot of bad advice. So no, it's great. It's kind of really nice when somebody's looking to invest in short-term rental can go ahead and start working with a realtor who's knowledgeable and a property management company if they're bringing one in to help them at the same time. So we have a couple of those actually going on right now. We're like a couple weeks out from people closing, and we've been working with them through the whole process already. So before you worked with Sandy Vacation Rentals, how did you estimate like potential rental revenue, like for someone purchasing for yourself or a buyer?
And the good part was, so because we moved into Ocean Sands and that was just kind of a vacation for us to place, we had that history to know like what Ocean Sands could get in on a per month basis, on a per night basis. But then I did a lot of manual effort of going out there and seeing what are other properties renting for in the area, what does it look like they have as far as nights open, nights that are booked, so to try and get a vacancy rate. So I did a lot of Excel math, Excel calculations.
A lot of manual labor.
Okay. So now, like working with you guys, it's a lot easier to, especially when we're looking, when a buyer starts to get a little bit more serious about buying an investment property, I'll reach out to you to say, hey, can you send me a report?
Absolutely. So we partner, we have a software that we use called Key Data. So we've gone through a couple ones, and we found Key Data to be pretty accurate. It's actually a database of all management companies in the area that have Key Data, which I would say all large management larger, probably 50 plus units, like most all the companies have Key Data, and it pulls real numbers from real properties, and you can actually narrow down on an area. You can put in specific like bedroom, bath, and it'll actually pull those numbers for us and do potential rental revenue. So there's, to be honest, I still do some manual labor because I have a lot of history, especially with like our own properties. If it's a complex that we already manage in and we manage quite a few units in, it's easy to pull that rental history. But this program we work with pulls like not only our database, but everything in the area, which is helpful too.
Yeah, and I think that's critical, the ability to narrow it down to a specific area, especially when you're talking about these beach communities, because one side of the street could get so much different rent than the other side of the street.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. Even like bedroom, baths. Yeah, and one side has the Gulf view where the other has the intercoastal view, very different rental revenue. So yeah, absolutely. So what kind of returns are realistic for someone new to say they're, purchasing their first short-term rental property?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's a hard one to answer because it really depends on what your goals are, right? Are you going to be a long-term hold investor? Are you just wanting for large cash flow on your investments? Are you looking to put a lot down? Are you going to leverage a lot? So I like to work with each investor individually to figure out like what is their goal. Are they looking to just improve, like get equity as they go through the years, or do they want that cash flow? And then we find an investment that works best for them.
Yeah, and that's such a good answer, because every owner that we work with is so different. Like we have a lot of conversations with owners about revenue where they're coming to me and saying like, I need this revenue, and we'll work, backwards with numbers sometimes, saying, okay, well, here's like the purchase price range that you're going to be, stuff like that. So you kind of almost have to work backwards occasionally too.
Exactly.
So yeah, it definitely, that's such a good answer, because you can't just say like, you're going to get this return on investment. And that's sometimes what people want you to say. You can't. So no, it's good.
So if someone is considering buying their first beach investment property, where should they start?
So I think the first thing is to get a team in place. So reach out to me. I can talk about the different areas. We can talk about strategy. What are your main goals? Are you looking to build equity? Are you looking for a place where you can vacation and also rent out when you're not using it? Or are you looking for pure investment? So we could talk through all of those pieces and figure out what is the right property for you to invest in. And I work with clients that are local, so we can meet in person. I also work with clients that are in London or in the Midwest, and they're freezing in Minnesota and they want to come down. So we can do if you're in not local, we can do FaceTime viewings of properties. So you could really do it from wherever you're at.
That's awesome. Okay. What makes Pinellas County beaches so special to you and to others?
So I think the first thing is it feels like a small town. It's an old town. You get the charm of that, but you're also close to a lot of activities around you. So nearby most all of the condos, there's such small little cute boutique restaurants and bars and things like that you could go to, and shopping but then there's also the proximity to the large attractions that we have here in Florida, like Disney. So it's really not that far of a drive to get to Disney. So you could bring your family on a vacation here, spend a few days on the beach, go to Disney one day, come back and spend some more time on the beach. So it's a really good location for all of those things.
So Shannon, we're curious, which areas of Pinellas County are you most excited about right now?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because I'm super excited about a new hotel that's coming up in the heart of Madeira Beach. I actually was there for the groundbreaking 2 weeks ago. So it just broke ground. It's going to take, well, it depends on who you ask, 2 to 3 years for it to complete. But what that's going to do is it's going to put Madeira Beach more on the map, right? So now people know about Clearwater, they know about St. Pete Beach. And if you've been to Madeira, you know Madeira, right? So now this is going to bring in a lot more tourists that will know about Madeira, love Madeira, and therefore it's going to increase the value. So I'm super excited for my 6 properties to see what that's going to do to the rent, the per night rent, and the occupancy levels, and seeing those increase. And when the value of the rent increases, you also have the value of the properties increase as well. So I see, there's a lot more new development, so it's not just that one hotel. Because of the hurricane damage that came through a couple years ago, you see a lot of brand new development coming through. So the new development for the hotels, all these new houses that are being built to hurricane standard, we're going to start to see the values increase. And so investing now before they do increase is important.
Why do you think people fall in love with investing in properties here?
I think it's very similar to like my journey, right? So when you come to stay here and vacation here, and you come back every year, why not invest and like have a property that you love to go to that's also building wealth at the same time? And you guys with Sandy Feet, and when you're publishing your newsletters and you show pictures of families on the beach, so it just gives you a fulfilling feel when you're able to provide that to families, where they can go and enjoy a week on the beach at your property, and seeing those pictures is really fun for an investor. And just to see the happy families and the celebrations that happen. You see weddings on the beach all the time, so it's just a lot of a happy vibe.
So what is it like living on the beach full time?
It is amazing, I have to say. I mean, and I want to say it's a dream come true, but it's not really a dream come true because I didn't even realize the dream was even there, right? Like, so I love the fact that I grew up in a dairy farm in Wisconsin. So when you grow up in Wisconsin, you don't think, or in the Midwest, you don't think about that you can move, right? You have so many roots and so many family members and friends that you don't think about moving. And so when the idea came up to move into Florida, because I really don't like the cold, I really like the beach. So we decided to try it when our girls, before they started school. So we moved down here and never looked back to going back home to Wisconsin. I love Wisconsin and I love going back to see family and friends, but they come to see us too. So we get the best of both worlds, living here and love the warm weather and being able to go out to eat outside in January and not having to wear a coat. So I love it.
Awesome. Could not agree more. So another thing we were curious about was what features make a property perform better as a short-term rental?
So I think when you're looking, especially in this area, the biggest thing is proximity to the beach, right? You need to be close to the beach. You need to be able, or walkable, right? So on the beach is great, but there's also really good properties that are walkable to the beach. And there's also some where you have a short drive to the beach, right? So you want to make sure that you're finding a place that is pretty close to the beach, because that's why people come here. That's our, draw to this area. Then you also need to look at the layout and like, what is the sleeping capacity? Like, how many people can you sleep comfortably, right? You don't want to jam everyone in and they can't fit. So how many people can you sleep? Is it updated? So we always look to see, would we want to stay there? And if we wouldn't want to stay there as investors, probably you're not going to get as many tenants that want to come and book your property too. So make sure that it's updated and it's clean and it's comfortable for your guests.
Okay, so Shannon, what is the number one myth you would say about investment properties?
I think the number one myth is that it's passive. It's definitely, especially if you're doing short-term rentals, it's definitely not passive. We have spent countless hours managing our own properties and doing the self-management, and until you start doing it, you don't realize how many late night calls you're gonna get, how many people are gonna have trouble turning on the TV and getting cable turned on. So it's definitely not passive, and I think that that's one of the biggest things that it took us 10 years, but we finally came to our senses to realize, you know what, we don't have to self-manage. There's companies that are set up to handle these things. Now there's good companies that do this, and then there's also bad. So I think the important part is finding that partner with you that can manage your properties, and Sandy Feet has been a great partner for us. And what I'm super excited about is seeing what the future brings.
Okay, so our last question, what separates a good investment from a great investment on the beaches of Pinellas County?
It's a good question and a hard question. But I think, for one, a good investment, we always feel if the property pays for itself. So if you buy an asset and it's you're getting enough cash flow for it to pay for itself, you're building up equity over time. So that's a good investment, right? But you also want to look for cash flow. So what makes a great investment is if you're building up that equity and you're getting the cash flow in to help pay for your other expenses outside of that.
Okay, so if somebody is interested in starting their own investment property, how could they get in contact with you?
Well, I'm glad you asked. They can go to, I have a website, beachbp.com, and you can find all my contact information there.
Awesome. Okay, great.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.